celebrating leaders in Rochester's unique and vibrant business community. We'll meet entrepreneurs whose passion and perseverance have helped push through life's challenges. Join us as we share their stories and journeys to success. It's time to be inspired.
Nita, thank you very much for being in Be Inspired, a show that we developed to interview entrepreneurs, people who are in businesses, people who are developing great ideas. And we hear great things about you. So let's start learning, who is Nita?
Well, thank you very much. I was born in Ghana, and I grew up. I went to high school in Ghana. I went to elementary schools, some of them in the Czech Republic and the UK. And my family actually migrated to Texas. And so that's where I got my citizenship. But I finished high school in Ghana, came to Columbia University for my undergrad, and then went to Georgetown to get my MBA. And I came to Rochester. Kodak brought me here in 2000 to come work for them in International Treasury. But I actually consider myself now a Rochesterian. I started my family here, and I've started businesses here. So born in Ghana, kind of raised all over, basically traveled to almost every continent. But I call this home because I think it's a really amazing city.
Great.
Apart from international travel, that's a pain.
Yes.
But apart from that, it's an amazing city.
Well, that's a wonderful story. So if we can go deep, dig deep on your story a little bit.
Yeah.
You started a business. What happened there? How this idea came?
So I came to Rochester, leave the gym. So I go to the Y, 5 in the morning. There's a group of us, we call ourselves the Dawn Patrol, because we're there 5 in the morning. I will leave, and I have these 2 women. One of them is still my mentor, Teresa Mazzullo, and they were like, we really like the way you dress. You need to sell it. So in the way I dress is take my Ghanaian piece and just mash it up with anything in my closet like I have right now. So the dress jacket is a Mansa wear, and then everything else is something that I pulled out of my closet. So that's how it started. So I kind of, I kind of didn't really think about it until one day Teresa said, maybe you need to think about it. You may be able to get you angel funding. It turned out because it's harder to get production. So with Mansa, where everything is done in Ghana, the fabrics are from Ghana, the production is done there. So it was harder the first time. So I kind of let it go. And then I think it was 2010, I was wearing one of my pieces, and Mary Child from the DNC met her at a party, and she liked it, wrote a story about it, huge story, and so started getting people coming. So initially it was just trunk shows for friends and families, and then after the DNC article came out, a lot of people got to know me, so I'm like, maybe I need to try this. But my background, because of my mother had always had dressmakers, clothing manufacturers, fabric makers always coming to her to dress her. So I grew up, by osmosis, learning from it, learning fabric, good design, good dressmaking, all that from my mom. So I think I had it innately in me. And so when I started doing the trunk shows with the DNC story, I'm like, maybe I need to test this before I just go out there and start a whole business. So what I did is I collected every piece. In 2014, I collected, I think it was 13 or 12. 2012. Collected every piece that I've ever done for people, and then went to Fashion Week and decided to set up as a vendor, not to do a runway show. Because what it would tell me, because people coming to Fashion Week would never be in my circle, right? Because my circle have been the Kodak professional circle, maybe my church circle. So I wanted to see how people reacted to my clothing, to my design. And from 2012 Fashion Week, I realized, okay, I do have a product. So the next step was finding a retail space. And I decided it had to be somewhere where people could walk into the shop, touch, feel it, right? Because otherwise it's going to be very hard to kind of break through retail and tell your story. And so that's how it started. Yeah.
And when did you open your location on Park Avenue?
The location was open, the formal opening was February 2014. Yeah, that's when it was open, 2000. And it started initially just 15 hours by myself. And then in 2017, I had a customer come in who is now my first employee, Gloria Hoffer. Yeah, she came, she got a gift certificate to buy a month's wear blouse, and she started working for me. So she's been with me since full on the whole of 2018, 19, she came along, yeah.
And
So
where's the store located? What's
we
the
are
address?
located on Park and Oxford, right on Park and we're right across from Magnolia's, next to Half Pint. So it's one of those houses that we kind of recede. So if you are standing in Magnolia's waiting for a window, you're looking at me.
Why to buy one of those?
Why do you
you
want to
will
buy one?
motivate people and say, okay, you want to buy this because it's very different, it's very unique, it's not something that you just find in any store.
Right. But the beauty of it is you can use it over and over with anything you are wearing. So today I'm wearing all browns with this print. I could have just wore red. I could have just wore sandals, red sandals, and not have a t-shirt because it's winter time, and not boots. So, and every time it's going to look different. So one piece, you can get much more mileage out of it and always be different. So even with this outfit, if two people have come in and they had selected, oh, we all want the same print, right? Because of the way the patterns, like you see how this is brown, the changes, you could have just selected this section for your skirt and another person could have just selected that. So two people could, or three people could pick the same fabric and they will end up in different styles.
Wow.
So, and it's 300 plus count cotton, right? You can put it in the machine, pull it out, and it will be the same. So if you look, if you think about, you know, everybody, think about everything. Everybody want bespoke, craft beers. Here you can just pick a piece. You know you be the only one wearing it, right? And also the flexibility of it and the quality of it to be able to continuously swap it and switch it with things already existing in your closet.
And these fabrics are produced in Ghana?
The fabrics manufacturers in Ghana. So what I do is I go every year and then I start looking at fabrics I want to use for my design. And a lot of things is what will work. When I'm picking up fabric, I'm picking up fabrics that would be very easy to mash up with anything already in my closet, to mix and match, right? So I'm picking fabrics that's already, I think will work. And so I pick them, I leave the inventory there, and I just bring samples to Rochester.
Sure.
So
And
it's
these
like
are
2 yards.
beautiful. Yeah.
So I do, what's been surprising over the last year is the men. I've been getting so many men come in and buy shirts and shorts. So that has been, I didn't start out like that, but if somebody asked me what surprised you, that surprised
the number of men you
the
get
men who are coming in.
And one quick question, just kind of building on that one. The styles that you design are what percentage from Ghana and what percentage from the U.S.? Are they a mashup, or would you say that they're more very traditional styles from
Well,
Ghana?
the styles are just really classic cut styles.
okay.
So the Ghanaian women traditional outfit is a skirt and a top. That's it. So the styles are very classic cut, you know, I guess U.S. styles. It's the fabrics that's what's different, and the way I position the fabrics, right? So, you know, this is just a long sleeve shirt. It's not any, right? What makes it unique is because of the way we pull out the different cuffs. So this print is the same as this in yellow. It's the exact same print. So the only difference is I decided to use this section to do the cuffs, change the print. That's basically. Well, a lot also, I could have just like this, I just use one solid print, one print that doesn't change. Yeah.
That's really creative.
Yeah, no, I love the creativity, and also you are diversifying a little bit because now you are going to this line
accessories,
and accessories. So tell us a little bit about that new adventure, or I don't know if it's new, but
it's always been there because what happens is, you know, somebody come in, you know how we all want everything instantly. But you come in, you place an order, you have to wait 28 days. So while you wait, you can just get an accessory which is ready to wear right there and pick it up and take it. People just wear it, So we have accessories, we have the men's line, And then every time I travel somewhere, whether it's New York City, San Francisco, London, Geneva, I always go looking for jewelry, accessories to add, because it's always interesting to see what it looks like in other places. Yeah.
So I love your story, and I love the capacity to recreate yourself. You came and working in Kodak,
Kodak,
right?
do
And
corporate
then
finance.
completely change and be in this business. So what would be the message to people who are watching right now? Maybe they are in depression, maybe they are suffering right now, maybe they have lost business, or they maybe were laid off. What would be your message to them?
Look within yourself, and there's always something, right? So I start my day always trying to meditate, even for 10 minutes. Just sit down and meditate before I leave the house. Well, I think the first thing I do is run to the gym and then come back and meditate. But really, look around and just be open. Because remember, I never thought I would end up in doing fashion and design. It was two women who kept saying, oh, you need to do this. This is something you ought to do, right? And so just hearing them and paying attention. And even the way I ended up at Rochester, I never applied to the Kodak job. I was at a, like a business conference show, and I wanted a one-time use camera. And they're like, you have to leave your resume. That's how I got the job. And then I got a call. So, right, talk about be open, be flexible. And then I got the offer. I never, because by the time I got my Kodak job, I already had 3 other offers. You know, and my mentor said, no, go. Go to Rochester. Go, because people do want you. If people are looking for you, go where you are wanted. If you stay in New York City, you'll be one of the 20 analysts they brought from business school.
Thank you so much. We'll be back with more after these messages. So what are some of the lessons that you learned in corporate America that you apply to your business and your journey as an entrepreneur?
The hardest thing is working with people. It's not how much spreadsheets you can do or how wizard. It's working with people, having people trust you, people leaning on you, also leaning on people. Teamwork. Working with people, I think, is the most valuable lesson. And that's what I take, you know. Having people, for it to work, people have to believe. They have to believe in what you're saying and what you're doing. And to get people to believe is they have to trust you. So I think that's one of the most,
I really like, and I love your message around that element of trust. Trust is fundamental. Now your clients, you have, I'm sure, repetitive clients who come and enjoy and have this element. And so how you achieve that client loyalty?
Well, one is just being, you know, treat them how you would want to be treated, right? So that begins, well, first it's a good quality, right? Doesn't matter how good you are. If it's not a good quality, it doesn't matter. They will be your friends, but they won't support you. So having a good, superior product, right? That's one item of it. And that leads to trust. If it's a good product, it's a, you know, that's how you build your trust. So I think that is it. And having something, knowing what your customer wants. So if a customer comes in, they really set on something, I'd like to get the money, but I'll be honest with them and say, no, I'd rather you do this or come back or do this. So I think that's all part of the trust. The whole package.
And what are your thoughts for expanding the business? Would that be geographic? Would that be using the internet? What are your thoughts on that?
Use the internet, but the goal is to be a Western New York business. Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse. I already have a few customers coming, searching me from Buffalo, Rochester, but the goal is to be there. The goal is to have an bigger online presence, but also, if I have an option, expand on Park Avenue. Stay in Rochester, stay in Western New York. Because at the end of the day, the product is going to be made in Ghana. So what difference does it make if I move to New York City or San Francisco, it still has to be made in Ghana and shipped.
So how you deal with bringing people from, or bringing materials from Ghana and bringing the clothing? There are restrictions. What is the capacity?
Well,
Because I'm sure there are a lot of people from different countries, right? I'm from Bolivia, you are from Costa Rica, and so be able to have that creativity that you were able to connect your original country, and of course now you are in your new country here, and you are a connector. So how that works?
Well, logistically, right now we ship everything through DHL, because it's, when people do custom orders, up to, until you can, my maximum capacity for my production people is 10,000 pieces a month. That is not a container, so that's not a ship. It's still a pallet on a plane. So even if I do my maximum 10,000 pieces, it's still going to be on a pallet. It's still going to be air shipped. I mean, I can do cargo, but it'll take a longer time. So that's it. So normally you have a logistics company. But because I'm not doing my maximum now, we ship through DHL. So they clear everything through customs.
And the whole, because Mauricio brings a good point. I know lots of people from Costa Rica, Bolivia, other countries are like, I wish I could import this from my country and bring it here because I think people would enjoy it.
Right.
The import-export business, is that really complicated? It seems kind of...
Well, you need there is a middleman who do all that. So an agent who would do all that. Right now, with up to like 20 pieces coming in at a time, we clear it through, the freight companies will clear it for you. I can also have done also regular Ghana mail. It goes through Ghana Post. It will, you see it come through JFK and they inspect it. But remember, I'm already licensed, already paying taxes to New York State and paying you. So that's all being done through in terms of the tax system. But for the import-export connection, you need an agent who do all the clearing for you.
So you don't have to be an import-export expert, you just need to find a good agent.
You just have a good agent. And you're going to need an agent on both ends, right? Somebody to ship it for you and somebody to receive it.
So you need somebody in Bolivia and another agent here.
Right, you need an agent. So you need somebody to ship it from you. Yeah. So I have a production, I contract with I have a mother and daughter team. They have about 300 employees. And then I work with another female. Yeah, actually I work with two huge, semi-small female organizations in Ghana. And so they have agents and ships, so they will do the shipping for me.
Well, that's wonderful, and I think it's important. I always have the temptation when we have an international guest. So how are things in Ghana in general? It's
Ghana
more stable?
It's very stable. It's a democracy. You don't hear there's nothing exciting going on. I think the last time I heard is Cardi B wants to become Ghanaian, apparently. That's the last thing I heard. On the news, my daughter told me.
What are the main attractives in Ghana?
Well, so our main export, cocoa, we're number 2 in the world, gold. Yeah, so that's the main attraction. And friendliness. I think if there was Olympics for that, we're going to win the smile.
Olympics. I love that. That's fascinating.
So it's very cool. Well, for 6 years, right, this has been coming and going. My 28 days I've hadn't had any problems, so it's a stable democracy.
Right, and the beauty is really this is showing a lot of the spirit of your nation, which is showing through these colors and these styles that reflect that happiness and that friendliness. So there is an element that I think is extremely valuable that you will see across different nations and countries, and the colors represent a lot of things. So that's very powerful. So important, and this is, I think, essential. Rochester. How you see Rochester in the future? You as a business owner, are you worried what's coming, or are you stable? You have been many years here. What's your perspective?
Well, this is permanent home for me, so I consider it home, permanent. I think it has a lot of potential. Not potential, it is. It's economically. If you think of it, my price point is $155 for a dress, right? So that should just kind of give you an indication. It's very stable. I think the economy has shifted beautifully. to schools, pretty soon we will be like Boston. Our industry will be education, right? It's really education. Yeah. We have a lot of education. And
Well,
healthcare.
this was an incredible interview.
Thank you.
I love what you are doing. I love how you connect nations. I love that through the clothing you are expressing your culture. Thank you so much for being in Be Inspired today, and I'm sure that we will be in the future together
Absolutely.
seeing the growth of your
Yeah.
company. Thank you very much.
And I hope to see you guys. We are on Park and Oxford, 367 Park, or you can find us on www.mansaware.com, and we are also on all the social media as Mansaware. But one thing I didn't tell you, Mansa is my grandmother's name, and Mansa means to be the third consecutive girl born to the same mother. Yeah, so it's a birth order.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Coming up next week on Be Inspired, we'll meet the president of the Rochester Hispanic Business Association, Grace Tillinghast. To watch today's episode and the complete interviews of our guests, go to rochesterfirst.com/beinspired. For more great talk with Rochester's entrepreneurs, listen to Poder 97.1, Saturdays at 9 a.m. For Mauricio Riveros, I'm Julio Saenz. We'll see you next week on Be Inspired.